So we have yet another new project in the shop. We have Byron Kline's truck here. He is a good customer that we have talked through, kind of have changed his plans a couple times over since we have scheduled his truck. Initially, it was a pretty much finished truck. It had a 6-liter in it. And he called me one day and said, I sold everything. So he bought a D&J Enforcer deck plate motor, all the fancy goodies, AAM electronics. We're gonna do one of our standalone harnesses. 48 built by Tim Barber. He's a good transmission guy, been in the game for a long time, so that's what's gonna be behind it. The truck is actually mostly all finished out as far as the back half, cage, most of the interior. He has all the fiberglass fit. He kept everything at home because we had no use for it. And so yeah, we are doing a CD7 maximizer, a couple kits of nitrous, GT55 is a single air-to-air intercooler out front. And yeah, we're just gonna try to make him kind of a truck that when he picks it up, he can go out and race. So he's gonna race a lot of the singles elite stuff, which is kind of big out on the East Coast where he is from, as well as he's gonna wanna race 590 as well. And the truck will have no problem making a bunch of that, or making the power to run that number pretty efficiently and be able to do it for a long time and just make laps in it. So that's what he wants to do. He wants a turnkey truck when it leaves, and we're gonna give it to him. So hopefully over the next couple weeks, we can get it kind of squared away and get moving on it. So with it being a Ford, this is an early, I want to say 04 truck. This has the big, ugly factory cross member in it, the factory steering gearbox. So we're actually as well doing rack and pinion steering with it. So in that, we are going to actually lump this entire cross member out of it, and we're actually just going to do a mid plate and front engine mount. So the mid plate will obviously go in the back, then it'll have front engine mounts as well, so the engine and driveline will be solid. Obviously it'll have a rubber bushing back at the trans just for safekeepings. So once we get kind of all of that wrapped up in the front as far as the rack and pinion and the steering shaft and stuff, then we'll go ahead and stuff the engine. That's pretty much our starting point with it, and then from there obviously we'll get into the wiring and everything else from there. So right now getting some of the last final piping and kind of final fit stuff finished up, getting the intake finished, hood stack, and yeah, all the plumbing and now all the wiring. We had some of the body panels on the inside that were getting changed up. As far as mounting all the electronics, I had to make another panel basically to mount everything on. And then all the steering column, the AEM, he went with a CD7 screen, so that was mounted on the steering column. Had to modify the firewall in a couple small spots. Obviously with being a Ford, it's a little bit different to fit a big 6-cylinder in there. So yeah, all the brakes and all that kind of stuff, just kind of going over, getting all the parts here. Hopefully in the next couple weeks, we're gonna try to tackle it pretty hard. Once we get a engine harness, then we can start the wiring process, because usually I start with a engine harness and then build off of that as far as the AEM, the anteater, all the nitrous stuff, basically just to give me a good starting point and then work forward from that. So stay tuned for this one. Byron Kline's truck is, we have it all torn down, ready for paint. Basically, as you saw in the past, with everything pretty much at this point, like when we do a truck like this, obviously it has no wiring in it, no plumbing. So we'll do all the fab work as far as like tabs for brake lines, all the steering components, mount all the tanks, plumbing, basically do all of the stuff that if we have any question if we're gonna need to grind on, the frame rails or anything like that, or say, drill holes in the firewall. We try to do all that stuff before we paint it. Just makes life a lot easier. So then in final assembly, we don't have to get dust and cutting shavings, all that kind of stuff all back over the fresh paint. So pretty much from here, we'll go ahead, paint the firewall. We're actually gonna switch the firewall to black. We've done white before in the past. It just always seems to be a little bit of a pain to keep clean, just with, a race car, unfortunately, always is gonna have some kind of oil or some kind of soot or dirt or whatever it may be on the firewall, and just keep it that clean look. We're just gonna paint it black and finish that out. So once that's done, we'll put the engine back in. Got a little bit of final dressing to do on the engine as far as some of the front drive stuff. And then we'll start on brake lines and all the hard plumbing. And then after that, we'll roll the plumbing or our AN plumbing cart over here and finish out as far as all the oil lines that we still need to make. It is still a wet sump, so it's got a factory pan, factory oil pump and stuff on it. So, there's not a ton of plumbing, but finish all the fuel system up. And then from there we can wire it and hopefully be done with it before too awful long. Watch nitrous.
Yeah, that's nitrous.
That's nitrous?
Yeah.
Is this trans?
Yeah.
Yes!
Fourth time's the charm. Was it with that ripe sensor?
Yeah, so this pinout, so that's it's a 4 sensor block, the one on the bottom there, but it's got a like an M5 cable for temp sensor. Well, this one. So we are in the process of wrapping up Byron Kline's truck. We've been here for a good long while, just been waiting on some parts, time more than anything, and but now we got the truck all wired, got it first fired, got all fluids in it, all the brake lines. I mean, it's in depth when you get into these projects because they come with no lines on them, no wire, nothing on them. So we got everything kind of done, wrapped up, almost dyno ready. Just have to walk through a couple other small things. We can get the truck corner scaled. We have the front clip already fitted and the back windows done and some other small things, but pretty much he's just gonna pick up a running race truck. So we have to corner scale it and get spring so we can get a correct weighted spring for the coilover on the front. And yeah, other than that though, it's been a fun project, and yeah, we should be able to make a good bit of horsepower with it.
All right, it's dyno day for Byron Kline. So this has been a long time coming.
Yes, it has.
We've got, you've been through a lot of, it's what, 3 years in the making?
4 years actually, since we started this project. Starting with the chassis and ended up going to put a 6.0 in it, and then changed our minds.
Yep, well, I'd say he made a good decision because now you have an Enforcer.
Yep.
And 400%, a 14 mil pump, 94 millimeter GT55, 3 kits of nitrous, pretty much all the good stuff to go fast.
Should be enough for what we need.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. I think we weighed it. We're sub 4,300 pounds.
Right in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So get that with a little bit of horsepower, you're gonna hurt some feelings.
That's the plan. Definitely, definitely.
So what kind of racing are you gonna see yourself doing with this the most?
The original plan was to run 590, but we're probably gonna have to dial it all the way back to do that. So maybe some no prep stuff, and we'll see what happens down at Truck Wars next weekend.
Sweet.
Oh.
So you have a test session scheduled for tomorrow?
Yes,
correct?
tomorrow. Yeah, we got an 8.5 hour ride home, and after that, heading to the track tomorrow afternoon and see what kind of numbers we can do there.
Well, hopefully everything goes smoothly today. We can put it through its paces. We'll start on a pretty basic tune and turn it up on fuel, and then we'll turn some kits of nitrous on, make sure everything's good. That's the nice thing about dynoing. If you get it all ironed out, you can feel good about going to the racetrack, and you should have all your bugs ironed out. We'll knock all that out today.
That's the plan. I like it.
All right, well, good luck.
All right, thanks, bud.
5,900. Put it like 5,000 RPM. Like we ran it to 5,200.
We're tight on the feet up top.
That was a fucking shot there, buddy.
Scared the f out of me.
We got Byron all situated and we finished the day with 1,860 horsepower, and that's good enough for him to go testing, go get his feet wet, and go have some fun with the truck. We were having some problems with spinning on the rollers, but being that it's a Ford lug pattern, we weren't able to put our dyno tires on it, so we decided to call it a day and send him to the track. But he made it to the #1 list for now, at least till later this week when we get Justin Ziegler's on the dyno and see if we can beat that one.